Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. It seems like Reddit is choosing to continue down the path that they were going on rather than listening to any of the community, rather than trying to deal with any of the people in the community that had concerns. They are forcefully reopening the subreddits that moderators have closed, and this is something that was brought up recently. And I'm honestly conflicted on this, so I'm kind of curious what your input is. It says, thanks for bringing this up. It's an important conversation. Mods have a right to take a break from moderating or decide that they don't want to be a mod anymore, but active communities are relied upon by thousands or even millions of users, and we have a duty to keep them active. Subreddits belong to the community of users who come to them for support and conversation. Moderators are stewards of these spaces and in a position of trust. Redditors rely on these spaces for information, support, entertainment, and connection. We regularly enforce our subreddit and moderator level rules. As you point out, that means that we have policies and processes in place that address an active moderation, mods vandalizing communities, and subreddit squatters. When rules like these are broken, we remove the mods in violation of the moderator code of conduct and add new active moderators to the subreddits. We also step in to rearrange mod teams, so active mods are empowered to make decisions for their community. The Moderator Code of Conduct was launched in September 2022, and you'll notice via post and comment history that this account has been used extensively to source new mod teams. Leaving a community you deeply care for and have nurtured for years is a hard choice, but it's a choice some may need to make if they are no longer interested in moderating that community. If a moderator team unanimously decides to stop moderating, we will invite new active moderators to keep these spaces open and accessible to users. If there's no consensus, but at least one mod who wants to keep the community going, we'll respect their decisions and remove those who no longer want to moderate from the mod team. What they're referring to here is that there are a lot of communities that went dark so that you can't view them. So if I go to r/videos, I can't view that community. I can't see any of the guides that were posted there. I can't read the conversations that were posted there. I can't see any of the history that was posted there. It's all gone. 7 or 9 years of conversations are completely gone. And this is a decision that doesn't get made necessarily by the members of that community. It gets made by the moderator team, which is why this is starting to become a contentious issue. On one hand, there are a lot of people that want to take part in the protest by not using Reddit. On the other hand, is that up to the moderators or the users? When I say that I think people who are aggravated by Reddit's new API terms of service should boycott the site, what I mean is not the moderators forcefully locking the community. I mean people touching grass and not visiting the website ever again, which is what I'm doing, except for me literally just taking the screenshot from this video, but that is the exception. In all seriousness here, there are some concerns here. One gentleman over here, his name is Vaya Condono, says, this is not a bad thing. A subset of mods that decide on their own to trash used repositories of knowledge created by other people. A handful of moderators deciding that troubleshooting tutorials should no longer be available to people who are having problems. And there are other people that say, I don't endorse these mods. People want to use the Reddit. They want to search it. They didn't subscribe to your ideology. And it's really interesting here because this is kind of like, the whole breaking the picket line thing, at a union where you're deciding to go on strike or people have decided to go on strike. And then there are people that kind of walk around the picket line and decide to go to work. But then it really does beg the question, did you vote for these people to be the moderators of the community the same way you may vote for union leadership that is going to represent you if there's going to be a strike? Do those moderators necessarily have the right to do this? Now, from a website point of view, a terms of service point of view, I pay the hosting and the server bills point of view, Reddit CEO and Reddit staff 100% have the right to reopen any of these communities. And they should. I completely understand why they would want to reopen their communities. If there are people out there that want to go out of their way to nosedive your website because they disagree with your decisions, you're not just going to fall on a knife because other people say that that's the right thing to do. At the same time, if Reddit is not going to change their API terms of service or deal with the blind community in any way, shape, or form that is acceptable to them, it doesn't make sense for them to simultaneously decide to fall on a knife. If you're going to go evil, you might as well go full evil rather than half evil. Half evil just doesn't make any sense. So these communities most certainly are going to be reopened. That being said, the communities being reopened by the moderator teams or new moderator teams doesn't mean that it's over. Again, look, I'm not commenting on this website anymore. When people ping me on Reddit, I don't comment. You have to email me and tell me what it is you want me to pay attention to rather than tell me to read a Reddit thread. I'm not going to go to that website to read a thread. I don't upvote or downvote things on the front page. I don't submit content anymore, and I don't comment on pressing news issues related to me or right to repair or anything else on the website. To me, it doesn't matter if a moderator has opened or not opened a community because I made the personal choice to not use the website. Genuine strikes are not organized top down. They're from the ground up. And that's the way that I think this should be done. It looks like they are doing this with more communities. Again, admins have taken over advice/animals, reopened the sub to the public, and bans any mentioning of it, which... yeah, I mean, listen, that's kind of lame. Like, again, reopening it is one thing. Banning any mention that you broke the strike, I cannot imagine in my head, even if you believe that Reddit is 100% on the right to make the API changes, 100% on the right to screw over the blind people, like, even if you are 100% okay with all of that, I don't see how before their IPO happens, you're going to have people that go, oh yeah, that's leadership I want to invest in. Oh yeah, that's a social media website I want to invest in, a site that's going out of their way to piss off large sections of their user base so that they leave. This is leadership that I feel comfortable giving my money to. In an interest rate rising environment where I can make a return on my investment with very, very low risk nowadays, I definitely feel comfortable burning millions or tens of millions or hundreds of $1,000,000 on spez. No. I would look at this as an investor and think, wow, this is a dumpster fire. I'm not giving you any money. You couldn't figure out how to profit for 10 years by your own admission. And now the way that you're going to profit is by literally like just taking a cleave and just doing this to your user base. Would you invest in this? Would you buy Reddit stock at the time of their IPO? Be honest here. Do you think the moderators are doing a good thing by taking part in this walkout and this blackout? Or do you think the moderators are doing a bad thing by forcing the hands of their users? Because again, there are probably users of r/videos that disagree with it being a private community that they cannot visit. They may disagree with the 5 or 10 years of content and conversations in that subreddit no longer being available, but they don't have a say because they're not a mod. I tend to believe personally in the... I am happy to do a blackout, which for me is I do not visit the website. I don't contribute to the website. The website no longer exists to me. But I make that choice myself versus a mod. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.